Hello once again, and I'm back, and I hope you guys are doing well. Okay, now I'm going to explain about obligations and prohibition. Okay, must and have to. It is on page 65. Okay, now it says here when we decide something is an obligation ourselves, we usually use must. For example, if you have an obligation that you must do something that you decided to do, we use must. For example, if I use a obligation for myself, I must I must go to work. This is my obligation because it's set by me. I don't have to go to work, but it's my obligation as a husband. Yes, your obligation would be uh, my obligation is to study hard because it's your obligations. You don't have nothing else to do but to study, so that will be your obligation. So you would use I must go to school or I must study. That's an obligation that you put by yourself. And then we use an obligation we set for us by another people. If somebody, for your mom, gives you an obligation, you have to use have to. Okay? For example, as your mom says, you have to clean your room. Have to is an obligation from somebody else, not from yourself. When it's from yourself, we use I must. That's your obligation that you put on yourself. I must go to work. Okay? And obligation that is put by somebody else, you have to clean your room. That means your mommy, your father give you this obligation, and we use have to. Okay? Now, we use mustn't to say something that's prohibited. Okay? Something that you're not allowed to do in your house. So, I mustn't. Okay? Some of you, your parents don't allow you to say bad words. So we use mustn't to say that it's prohibited. Oh, okay. Prohibit. Prohibited. Something that's not prohibited in your house. So you say, I mustn't say bad words. So we use mustn't when something is prohibited in your house. Okay? Or to give a very strong advice. When you give somebody an advice that you want the person not to do it, you also use it for advice. Okay? Advice is something that you care about someone. So you say, you mustn't do bad things. Okay? So you are giving somebody an advice. You mustn't do bad things because you care about the person and you give them good advice. Okay, now, you mustn't, we use don't have to for necessary not to do something. Okay? I'm going to erase this. Something that is not necessary, we use don't have to or third person. doesn't have to. Okay, for example, I don't have to eat healthy. Okay, that's one that you don't use. Okay, so for a third person, you would say, uh, Jimena doesn't have to work because it's not necessary because she's still a child. Jimena doesn't have to work, and this is all we have to do for obligations and prohibited things. Okay, well, I'll be seeing you guys soon. And hopefully you guys are doing well. Have a great day. Bye.